up guys, and welcome for a new Wulong build video. What I have for you today is probably one of the easiest and the strongest builds you can use to beat anything in the game. Your damage is literally insane and you have pretty good survivability as well. You can just about kill any boss before they even get a chance to do anything. You can easily beat the 1000-mile journey with this build and beat the new Heavenly Dragon difficulty as well. So let's get right into the build. If you are just getting back into the game, just a quick heads up. Firstly, the most important thing we need to make sure with this build, or just in general about your overall damage and survivability, is your morale. Clearing the 1000-mile journey or any of the boss rush missions will all depend on your morale. The higher your morale is when you fight the bosses, the easier the fights will be. Our damage is great regardless of our morale. It's only a matter of the damage that we take when we are at a lower morale. We can't out-heal the damage that we receive if we are at a lower morale. So we must always ensure that we are equal or higher morale than the bosses. Otherwise, no matter how much damage reduction you have, you will not survive. So let's have a look at our gear. The set bonuses we use for this build are going to be the Grace of the Limbao as the main, and a few pieces of the Pure One Grace. In total, you will need 5 pieces of the Grace set of the Limbao across your gear pieces, and 2 pieces of the Grace of the Pure One, and 1 piece of the set bonus mitigation. This will allow you to get the full bonus from the Limbao set and 2 bonuses from the Pure One set, which is all we need for this build. With this set bonus, we will deal more damage to enemies the more negative effects that they have, with the most damage we can get at 3 or more effects on the enemies. And now as for our weapons, what we need is the sword. I use the Iron Sword variant as it gives you good damage bonuses from wood, fire and the metal virtues, which are going to be the main virtues we use for this build. The stats you want to go for on your weapon is the melee attack power, damage to enemies with negative effects, and damage amplification to enemies on martial arts. And the martial art that you need to get on your weapon is the Turning Clouds. This is the most important, and now you can easily get it just by replacing martial arts if you don't have it on your weapon. And your secondary weapon doesn't matter at all. It's just a matter of getting any of the set bonuses that I mentioned earlier on your second weapon. And same goes for 2 ranged weapons as well. It doesn't matter what you get as long as you have the set bonuses that I mentioned. So now let's have a look at the armor. I have a very particular armor that I would recommend to you guys to get. For the headpiece and the greaves, we would want to use the White Horse General pieces, as they come with added melee attack damage bonuses. And ideally, for your chest piece and your pants, you would want to get the Lieutenant General pieces, as those come with added morale rank gained. I couldn't get the pants for the set bonuses I needed, but ideally for the chest and the pants, the Lieutenant General pieces are what will work best. And as for your stats, if you have 6 or 7 star gear, for the premium stats it's best to go for overall damage dealt. This will overall increase the damage of your elements with your enchanted weapons, your melee attacks, any spells that you may decide to use, and fatal strikes as well. So overall this is the best stat as it boosts all your damage. If you have 7 star pieces, then on your second premium slots, get a balance of both lightning attack power and flame attack power. Those 2 in general are good enough to beat around 90% of all the bosses in the game. Then one of the most important stats you need is morale rank points gained. Once again, I can't stress out how important it is to be at a higher morale than the bosses. In the boss rush missions, you will always start at 0 morale. Within the first boss, you can already jump up to 8 or 9. Without the morale rank points gained, you can sit at around 3 or 4 after the first boss. Just look at how quickly the morale increases with your martial arts and killing the boss. Before even fighting, I'm already 12 morale higher than the boss. And yes, this is at the highest difficulty as well. As I hit them with my martial arts, just look at how quickly my morale rises. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 morale in just a matter of seconds. When the next boss spawns, I'm already 15 morale higher than them. It's too bad that in some of these missions, the morale rank is capped at 30. Getting to that high morale will not only make you more tanky and deal more damage, but it will also make your spells cheaper to use. Also, unlike these missions, the 1000-mile journey seems to have no cap to your morale. You can go as high as you want before you can face the bosses. The highest morale the bosses can spawn at is 50. I can already be around 60 before those fights. Some other stats that you can get on your gear is damage received or some elemental damage reduction. Or if you just want more damage, add in some attack power for your toxin or whatever else that you may like to use. It's completely up to you. As for your accessories, try to get some of the same stats that you have on your armor. A good stat to have is damage reduction on HP recovery. Since we'll be healing ourselves constantly, we'll be getting that bonus damage reduction every time. And as for your virtue points, I'm at max level of 400, and the important ones you need to have are wood, fire and metal. I have a few in earth just so I can have that heavy armor and still be able to deflect and not be too heavy to use the gear. Plus you'll be using some of the earth skills to tank the attacks, so having that at 25 is all you will need. Then I put a few points into water just for some of that added ice resistance, and if I ever need to enchant my weapons with ice. As for your special effects, you'll basically be able to get almost every single one of them, from either your martial arts, HP recovery and wizardry spells. And as for our divine beast, we will be using this guy. He gives us good martial arts damage and we can inflict slow on martial arts. He's also just really great at stunning bosses, especially the human ones. If you ever find yourself in trouble, you can always just use him to get some space in a fight. For your spells, we have one set dedicated to all your buffs and one set to all your weapon enchantments. Enhanced defense and absorb vitality are the two most important ones that you need to have active almost all the time. It will prevent you from getting staggered from your attacks as well as healing you. Then put in overpower burst and amplify damage if you are fighting bosses. Use amplified damage only if you are higher morale than the bosses, otherwise don't use the skill but use life wither instead. Then on our second set, put in all your enchantments: fire, ice, lightning and toxin. I don't find much use of stone, so these four are all you will need. And that is it for the build guys. The original Limbo state is still one of the strongest gate sets in the game. I have yet to try some of the new ones that came with this update, so we will have to see if this can beat one of those or not. But as of right now, this is still super strong and can be used for just about anything. As for how you would want to play with this build, I'm not sure about Neo, but unlike Stranger Paradise, when you go into the rifts and missions, the boss isn't just gonna spawn in like 2 seconds. You get as much time as you want before you can start the fights. So always block your 3, enhance defense, absorb vitality and overpower burst before you head in, whether it's the 1000-mile journey or even the boss rush missions. Since bosses can spawn at random, go in and see who spawns and then enchant your weapon accordingly. Then just go ham and attack a few times just to see your spirit get high, then just hold down your martial arts and watch the boss get melted. Then just repeat the process for each boss that spawns. Some bosses just move around a lot, so it can prove a challenge. So make sure to have enhanced defense and absorb vitality active, otherwise you'll just get staggered every time and won't get much damage in. Otherwise, the only thing you need to look out for in bosses is that lightning damage. Make sure that you can deflect those, otherwise you will lose your enhanced defense buff. Other than that, you should be fine to take on mostly all the bosses very easily. Also, even if you can survive anything the bosses can throw at us, make sure to still deflect the critical blows, as you don't want to lose your morale rank. Losing that will just put you at a disadvantage. I hope you guys enjoyed the build. The new update has really changed the game and it's a lot more fun than the first expansion. I'm looking and testing more fun and exciting builds for the new armor sets as well, so be sure to stay tuned for more fun builds to come. I will catch you all next time.